Hey everyone, Cameron with CBM Reviews here, and we are on the road to Infinity War. This time we're looking at Iron Man 2. Iron Man 2 was also directed by Jon Favreau, the person who directed the first Iron Man, and all the returning cast comes back with the exception of Terrence Howard. He does not come back as Rhodey. He is replaced by Don Cheadle. I'm going to give you my opinion at the end of this review, and I'm also going to give you some information that you definitely don't want to miss. But before I start, I'm going to give you some other people's opinions, and then after they're done, I'll give you mine.
Hey YouTube, what's going on? This is John, and today I'm going to be taking a look at Iron Man 2 for Cameron over at CBM Reviews. This is not one of the more loved Marvel sequels, but I like it. I'd still put it above Incredible Hulk, Thor, and Thor the Dark World. More entertaining, and just more fun in general. Definitely more memorable. So let's take a look at what makes it memorable. First off, you've got the villains. You got Sam Rockwell, who is a blast. He plays this sort of anti-Tony Stark. A guy named Justin Hammer, who is a rival weapons manufacturer industrialist who wants to step in and fill the void that was left when Tony shut down all of Stark's weapon manufacturing in the first movie. And he is trying to do this with the help of Mickey Rourke, who takes a very less is more approach playing Ivan Vanko, Whiplash. Now, Ivan's big motivation is kill Tony Stark, but not just kill him, take him apart. Like, his big thing is, if I can't kill you, I want to prove that you can bleed. I want everyone else to come after you because I can make you look weak. And I mean, that's an interesting hook for a character to have. It's more than just sort of straight line, one-dimensional, I will kill you. So, I liked that. But Rourke was way underused in this movie. I mean, he takes it, like I said, he takes a less is more approach, not a lot of dialogue, not a lot to him, but he's got a great screen presence. The action set pieces that he used in, though, are pretty underwhelming. Like, you've got the first one at Monaco, which is a blast. That's the one that was in all the trailers, where he first has the suit, he's taking apart the cars, he's got Tony on the ropes, but just like with the final fight, as soon as Tony puts the suit on, it's pretty much over. So, yeah, kind of anticlimactic there. Really anticlimactic kind of sums up this movie, because the first two acts of it, the first two-thirds, are great. You've got some really solid character moments with Tony dealing with his fear of death as he's suffering from palladium poisoning, which drives the plot as he's trying to figure out a way to replace palladium as fuel for the reactor in his chest. Then you've got Sam Jackson's Nick Fury stepping in with the help of Black Widow, who gets introduced in this movie, but it doesn't really come to anything once we get to the third act of the movie. You have this big, awesome action set piece, and you've got stakes. Hammer has had Ivan Vanko working on these drones. He just co-ops these military rip-off Iron Man suits, turns them into drones, and uses them to terrorize the Stark Expo, which you've got people running everywhere. Really neat sequence. Later became canon that the kid in the Iron Man mask that Tony swoops in and kills one of the drones, that's Peter Parker. So that gives the movie a whole extra number on its grade for me. You know, if it was a 7, it's now an 8, because that's Peter Parker. That's awesome. Would I recommend it? Absolutely. Is it a fun watch? Yes. Does the ending hold up to the rest of it? Not so much. But, yeah, can't win them all. The thing that really solidifies this one for me is how strong the character moments are, again in the first two-thirds. Watching Tony struggle with his poisoning. Watching him try to solve all of this by himself without any help. Watching him wrestle with his responsibility as Iron Man and his playboy tendencies still carrying over from the first movie. You know, this is the movie where we really see him kind of transition into being a superhero who's got to think of people outside himself. I mean, he does have kind of that character arc in the first one, but it's really carried over into this one. And it's kind of completed with the big finale in Avengers.
I think Iron Man 2 is really a miscritic-sized movie. Like, it's not really the worst thing that's come out of the MCU. To see Iron Man and War Machine team up in that film was just great. I finally get to see the War Machine, you know, and I think they take the better actor for it with Don Cheadle. It is kind of an Avengers setup film, because you have Black Widow, Nick Fury, but the post-credit scene, you know, with Thor's hammer and everything, proved more to it, you know. The racetrack fight scene with Whiplash and Iron Man, you know, in his suitcase suit. Black Widow in action, you know, if we see it for the first time, it's like, yeah, I can get on board with her being Black Widow now. So it was a good way to introduce Scarlett Johansson to this MCU. I like the fact that they addressed his father issue, but if you want to finish up the cinematic universe or as the phases, then I would recommend Iron Man 2 as part of the Phase 1 set.
I want to thank John and I want to thank Charles for giving me their opinion. And now I'm going to give you my opinion. This movie was a huge letdown for me. The first Iron Man was spectacular. I remember watching it and saying, oh my gosh, that's great. And then The Incredible Hulk wasn't as good as Iron Man, but still we had something to compare it to. We had the Ang Lee Hulk film, and it was so much better than the Ang Lee Hulk film. We were like, hey, that's a whole lot better. This one is a step down from the first Iron Man, and so that's the first letdown. The second one is that there was a lot of hype going into the sequel of the beloved Iron Man. And that hype was so huge that it was just a letdown when Iron Man 2 finally dropped. So that was a strike 2 for me. I think that it was a step up as far as the casting with Don Cheadle as War Machine / James Rhodes. So I thought that was great. I thought that Pepper Potts, Gwyneth Paltrow's Pepper Potts, had a lot more to do. I liked her character. Happy Hogan, who Jon Favreau, who also directed, he had quite a bit to do as well. And I like that. What I didn't like was just that Tony didn't feel like a growing character. Yeah, he had the palladium poisoning that he was dealing with, but instead of being somber and trying to embrace the things he loved, he just kind of flew off the rails. And I guess some people would do that, but I just didn't feel that was authentic to the character. And then they wedged in kind of the demon in the bottle storyline with it, dealing with alcoholism. It just didn't feel like it was handled with the amount of gravitas that it deserved. Demon in the Bottle is supposed to be the pinnacle of Iron Man stories in the comic books. And it's just kind of like thrown in there where he's at his birthday party. I like that Black Widow's in this. Scarlett Johansson does a great job. I think that she does the best job out of the 3 S.H.I.E.L.D. people that are in this. You've got Coulson and you've got Nick Fury. I think both of them are kind of played as characters with just one-liners that are making quippy jokes. You know, Nick Fury's like, just remember, I've got my eye on you. He wears a freaking eye patch. Not my favorite of Fury and Coulson. It just didn't do it for me, guys. I wanted to love this movie. I want to love every single comic book movie that I see. This one didn't do it. This was the first big letdown for me as far as the MCU is concerned. It wasn't the last, but it was the first. So that's what I think about Iron Man 2. Now don't forget, we are still accepting submissions for Thor and Captain America the First Avenger. You can also send in your submissions for the Avengers. Remember, when I'm talking about submissions, you can do what John did earlier and send me an email with the video to comicbookquizbowl@gmail.com. I'll get it, I'll go through it, and if I like what I see, boom, I put you in the video. It's that simple. Just, keep a few guidelines intact, try to shoot horizontally, keep it clean, and have fun. And you definitely want to send these in because I'm having a giveaway. I'm going to link down below to the video that explains everything about this giveaway. I'm going to explain what it is that I'm giving away. I'm going to explain how you qualify and what needs to happen for it to happen. And this is not a small little one-off prize. This is kind of a big one. So make sure you look in that description to see what the qualifications are for this. If you're subscribed to this channel, you don't want to miss it. So that's it for this episode of Road to Infinity War. Tell me what you guys thought. Do you agree with me? Do you agree with some of the other guys that had some ideas? Let me know in the comment section down below. If you like what you saw, hit that like button. And if you're new here, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any CBM review content. And make sure that you share it with all your friends so they don't miss anything either. Plus, you definitely want to share because of this contest that's coming up. Check out some videos that we've got going on over there. As always, this is Cameron with CBM Reviews. We'll see you next time.